Hello. My name is Bo. This is going to be a little bit different from my usual content. So, if you're new and you like this, there might be more coming, but this is very new to me and my channel. I usually make kind of very unedited, very off my chest vlogs, a video diary about my life in a way, all about my life living with disabilities, with different mental health conditions, living in poverty, all these different things. But yeah, this video is going to be a little bit different. I've had a few ideas in the past to do a few different style videos, but I am not very good at editing, admittedly, but I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try and do the cool YouTube-y edity things and, have the video playing here, but I'm gonna be reacting today to a video that I took part in a very long time ago. Hopefully this is going to be a little two-part series, maybe even multiple part series, depending on what I can get footage of. But yeah, today we are going to be reacting to the very first Last Bible project that we did. This was so long ago now. We're probably gonna watch the video, maybe have a look at a few comments, give some thoughts, some opinions, just, yeah. Thought this might be interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna scooch on over, give a little bit of space. Hopefully I can figure out how to edit this good enough. I have my laptop here to watch the video. I haven't seen it in a long time. It's really awkward watching stuff back for me. I'm sure a lot of people have that. That's why I don't often edit, because I don't like watching myself. But yeah, let's get into the video. Okay.
People have come up to me in the street and like they've been out on a date with us and I don't have no memory of it. One personality would go out with one guy, another personality would go out with another guy. When the guys found out, it was like, you've been two-timing us.
I first gotta say, there were so many comments about the colour of my hair. Like, I thought fresh dyed hair would look nice and, you want to look nice for something like this. But the amount of comments about the colour of my hair being like, a young person, dyed hair, faking it. I was just like, what? Anyway.
Hi, I'm Kim.
Very nice to meet you. I was so nervous. Hi. Also, me walking on then was the first time I walked on. I was kept backstage so that I didn't know who I was going to be meeting. And then I walked on to set once everything was up and ready. And yeah, I did know who Kim Noble was, and we had been theorizing who could it possibly be. Do you know what I mean? Because the gap is about two people of different age ranges. I was, I think, 20 or 20 at the time, 21. And Kim is, I think, in her 50s. I don't want to assume. And we were trying to think who's an older person with DID who talks about this sort of stuff, and she was the only name that came up. We were like, because no one else who's spoken about it was old enough to be classed as an age gap. Jess is older than me, but not that old. Do you know what I mean? She's not old. So when I walked in and I noticed that it was Kim, I was a bit like, oh my god, it is you. Like, I think that's why I look so kind of shocked, is because, yeah, I kind of called it. hate that they use split personality. Hate that.
What is your disorder?
My disorder is a DID, dissociative identity disorder.
Same, I guess. Characterized by more than one personality state, I'd say.
It's one or two or more personalities, and the personalities have got no memory between them, and they take over the body. How long ago was you diagnosed?
So I was 19, so 3 years ago. But even then, my psychiatrist didn't want to diagnose me with it. They said that it was not a real thing, didn't exist. So they just kind of diagnosed me with the symptoms of it. You know, you have alters, you have dissociation.
I was diagnosed 24 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's quite a long time. At that time it was quite rare. It wasn't as popular as diagnosis as it is today.
I really felt the whole time, and no shade to Kim, but I really felt that she didn't believe me. A lot of the things that she was saying were quite passive aggressive in a way. Yeah.
And not many psychiatrists understood it or had any idea about it.
Even now, people don't really believe you. But it wasn't until I was in a friend group and they were going, "You're doing stuff weird, you're acting weird." And I'm going, "I don't remember that." That was when I started to realise there was something wrong, I guess.
So what happened before you were diagnosed?
With me, it was a lot of losing time, a lot of not remembering where I'd been, what happened, and lots of like, who am I, what's going on, where am I?
And I've always had that like lack of memory and not knowing what's happening from like a very early age. So for me, it just felt normal. So I didn't see that I had any problems losing time. I'd never known any difference. So it all just felt so normal. And then I was seeing a therapist who was a specialist in DID. I hadn't been diagnosed. I had phoned in to say that I'm sorry, I missed my appointment. Could I reschedule? And yet somebody had been to the appointment.
Oh.
So and that's when they thought there was something weird's happening here.
Ads. On
How did you feel when you was diagnosed?
Scared?
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I've always kind of had was the background chatter in the brain, just a constant, what seems like static noise in the head, you know, of people talking, never being able to make out what they're saying. But occasionally I'd get the odd opinion from someone specific, but never enough to have like a proper conversation with them. But they might be like, "No, don't go that way," or "Stay away from that," you know. I could maybe remember briefly if they've gone somewhere. So if they've gone out the house, I might remember physically going outside. Or if they've spoken to someone, I might vaguely remember who, but not what about or what they said or anything like that. It's kind of like falling asleep. That's what it feels like to me, that you couldn't remember what you were thinking.
Yeah.
I think those were a lot of questions jumbled together because that question about that answer about like falling asleep was about how switching feels to me, not about, I guess, just stuff. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what I'm saying.
What are the differences between your personalities?
There's a lot, I guess. There's a lot of differences. It's just like saying, listen.
This is also where I got a lot of shit. Like, I don't know. I kind of walked into it, you know, they asked the question, so I told the differences, and a lot of people took that and ran with it like, "Oh, so quirky." I didn't choose this. I didn't choose them. I'm sorry.
Difference between me and you know, age, skin color, weight, height, in what they feel like they look like, I guess. What they like, what they enjoy. Some of us have very different outward projections, I guess. So like they would walk differently and have a different accent or voice. So we have a boy who's 12, so he's very boisterous. He's very like, he'll be stomping around, very masculine, but he also puts on a boy voice to make himself feel more comfortable as a boy, you know, as like a teenage boy.
I feel like I'm fluffing so much when I'm explaining this, but I'm so nervous, I'm so anxious about everything that that I'm saying, because the face she was giving me was so like, sure. I was just like, you know, like, to make them comfortable, and, please believe me.
So does he realise that he's got DID and he's sharing a body?
Yeah, he recognises, when he sees them in the mirror, he can see me, and he doesn't like that. He doesn't like that it's like a woman's body. You know, he'll bind my chest, he will put my hair up or do things like that to be as far away from female as possible. And similar with one of our littles, she doesn't like being viewed as a woman, so wants to look as much like a child as possible. So we'll wear like baggy clothes like this so it doesn't show any shape, to try and make themselves feel more physically like them as well.
And I'm sure that these traits, I know with Layla specifically, like we say here, hers is a trauma-based thing, you know? She doesn't want to dress like a child because she finds it cute. She dresses baggy because she doesn't want to be sexualized. You know, this is a trauma thing. You mention anything about a bum or anything like that, and it's shame for her, you know? She wants to be seen as a child because being viewed as a woman is traumatic. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like Layla wants to be a child, let's dress up as a kid. Toast wants to be a boy, let's dress up as a boy. Do you know what I mean? A lot of these reasons are trauma-based. This is a trauma-based disorder, you know? There's probably a reason why Toast acts like he does, and why all of my alters act like they do. And I don't know any of it. I don't understand or control any of it. I'm not even aware of when it happens, do you know what I mean? And yeah, I think that's one thing I didn't get clear enough in the video, is that it's not just personal taste. These are things from trauma. Do you know what I mean? I tried to say it, that she doesn't like to be viewed as a woman, but not because she wants to be seen as a child for funsies. It's because being viewed as a woman is traumatic.
Mine don't seem to even understand or do that. They just take who they are. They don't accept that they've got DID, so they just think that they're just a singleton on, you know, just one person.
This is one thing that I think Kim believes, and she's quite rigid on, is that if any of the alters are aware that they have DID or that there are other people in the brain, even if it is like a protector whose goal is to protect another alter, then you can't have DID. She believes that there must be completely full unawareness, even though she herself knows that she has DID.
If they were host, I guess, would they change things on the body?
When there's the switch, it's very subtle. Other than the younger personalities and one who's very religious, and she'll go on about the Bible a lot, but our voices are mainly the same. Other than mannerisms would be different, and there'd be a gap in memory of what's been talked about. It's like they don't exist. I don't get any inkling they're there, other than things around the house. and I'm in different places and I don't know how I got there. People have come up to me in the street and like they've been out on a date with us and I don't have no memory of it. In my younger days, one personality would go out with one guy, another personality would go out with another guy. When the guys found out, it was like, you've been two-timing us. In the younger days, it was fun.
Yeah, I bet.
I don't feel as though it's me being out of control, it's them in control of the body and doing what they want to do. But I'd come into the body and I'd be in a psychiatric hospital. That would worry me. You know, what am I doing here? Why am I here? I shouldn't be here.
And this, I think, is one of the big things that I'm really, really afraid of, is this, waking up in a psych hospital. And they used to do it a lot more in the older days. They would, any sign of mental illness, they would shove you in an ambulance and take you off to the hospital. They're much more reluctant to send people to the psych ward, even if they have, say, done an unalive attempt. They still won't send them to a psych ward, do you know what I mean? So even though I have never personally been, and I think due to access, it's still a deep fear of mine due to how it's been portrayed and how it has been in the past. You know, somebody with voices in their head or switches like I do would have been taken away by men in white coats, and that's one of my deepest fears, that I will be taken away without my knowledge. I am so afraid of switching because I'm afraid of what will happen if I lose time, that I will wake up in a bad place like this. And because it's happened so many times, you know, with me, and if you've been on my channel for a while, you know it has happened, and I am terrified of switching now because of it. But yeah, I think, yeah, this is a terrifying disorder, you know, and I am terrified of that happening. And yeah, I don't know.
Does it frighten you, like blacking out?
It used to. I believe DID is from severe continuous abuse at a very young age. So I think it was a protection, a bit like mind over matter. It's not happening to me.
It's like when she says that, you know, she says it like I'm not going to agree with her. She says it like I'm going to turn around and say that I don't have severe trauma or something. Do you know what I mean? Like she's trying to catch me out or something. And I agree with her on almost every point. I don't think she ever believed me.
I'm not suffering. You know, another personality is taking it on. That's stronger.
What are some of your triggers?
A lot of these questions, these back and forth questions, were asked by the director. They were made to look natural, but they weren't. I would never go and ask somebody their triggers straight off the bat, you know. I would never just be like, what are your triggers? But like, we would be talking about something, we would answer one of the questions, and then the director would be like, oh, Bo, ask her one of her triggers. What are her triggers? And then I'd have to be like, what are your triggers? Like, that's why they kind of feel so awkward, is because I wasn't actually asking her for these questions. Yeah, it was fun though. I really loved the director, and we had a really interesting time on set. It was really nice to be on set and just see how all of this sort of stuff works. Do you know what I mean? It was really interesting. But yeah, I would never ask somebody their triggers straight off the bat like that.
Anything that would be related to abuse. A Bible, certain colours, the oven, showers, water. So there's lots of different things. The only reason I know them is because you know, somebody's been there with me when they've handed me something and I've switched. And, do you know your triggers?
America is one of mine. I know, and I can't exactly expect people to not talk about a whole country.
The way she laughed at me there is a bit weird. I haven't fully talked about what happened in America and why America was a trigger for me. It's not the topic of America, a country, is not so much a trigger for me anymore. It's been a good few years since I went, and I am able to talk about things in America now and talking about the country as a whole. Before, talking about certain states in America that I went to was too triggering because it would just take me right back to where I went. If somebody mentioned New York, I went to New York so I could remember being in New York and what happened in New York. So bringing up certain states in America or certain things in America were really triggering to me and would send me into a really bad state. No pun intended. But yeah, it was really hard to talk about it because anybody I would say I can't talk about America would just laugh at me. Do you know what I mean? They would really just be like, what? And like so many people in the comments were like, what? America is a trigger? And it's like, there was a very interesting post on Tumblr a long time ago about how lollipop sticks and jelly were a really severe trigger to somebody. And everyone kept laughing at them, saying like, what do you mean lollipop sticks and jelly? That's stupid. And then they explained that they were in hospital for 6 months on a no solid diet. They constantly ate ice lollies and jelly. That's all they ate. And so now if you show them any kind of ice lolly stick or an ice lolly or jelly, they completely get transported back to being in hospital for 6 months. It's like, you don't know or understand why a trigger is somebody's trigger. Just take it at face value and accept it. Because at that time, I couldn't talk about America at all. I can now. I can talk about it a little bit more now. But there's still certain things about it that I can't talk about. I can't even mention because it will trigger me too bad. There's certain things in my life that I cannot talk about because they're too triggering. And yet, you can see the worry on my face that people don't take it seriously. The fact that she laughs at me is kind of savage, to be honest. I never laughed at one of her triggers. She was like, water, showers, ovens, and I'm like, yeah, no, that can be a trigger. Anything can be a trigger. But I say America and I get laughed at because I'm the one with pink hair.
How has living with DID affected your family?
I definitely see my family less because of it. Someone in my family told me not to get diagnosed with it because I wouldn't be able to get jobs, and told me, that's stupid. Once I kind of got my diagnosis, I became homeless with my partner. That was a struggle. Trying to figure out what my head was doing as well as where we were living was hard.
I think this is one really major thing that people, and especially young people, don't understand when they claim this disorder. And I saw the consequences of it with this video, with my family, with everything. But when you claim this disorder, it's not like claiming autism or claiming ADHD or depression or PTSD or anything. You are, with this one, with DID, you are directly claiming that your parents or your direct caregiver either abused you or neglected you. There's no if, ands, or buts. Your primary caregiver has to have either abused you or neglected you to create this disorder. And by coming out publicly and saying, hi, I have DID, you are directly calling out your parents / family to be abusers. And that's one thing I think a lot of people don't quite understand the severity of, when claiming a disorder like this is that you are directly calling out your parents. My mum almost lost her job. My grandma almost lost her job because this was a direct accusation of abuse to them. Like, there's no way around it, you know. This is not just like PTSD from a trauma that can not be directly caused by your parents or your primary caregiver. It could be caused by anything or anyone. This is caused by neglect from your primary caregiver so that you have to retreat into your own brain. It's the disorganized attachments from your primary caregiver plus organized abuse. And that's one thing that is really a big thing in this, and a lot of my peers have faced the consequences, but I think a lot of the young people that I see online don't quite realize that. When they're 12, 13, still living with the said parents claiming this disorder, you're saying that they're neglecting you right now, or have done throughout the time you're living with them. Do you know what I mean? It's a direct accusation. And yeah, I just think a lot of people need to realize that, you know, I accused my family when I came out, especially with this video. A lot of people saw this video and started asking questions. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people might end up regretting when their parents disown them because they're lying or because they're claiming that they've severely neglected them. It's serious.
Lots of people don't believe me when I first say it, you know, if I was to come out and say it. Yeah, I don't really tend to tell people unless I'm quite close with them. But then by that point, they've seen me switch and they've seen, like, without me knowing, you know. You?
How's it affected my family? Well, I think probably the main person it did affect was my daughter. Mm-hmm. She was taken away as soon as she was born and said that she's going up for adoption. So I think that was quite a tough time. I didn't understand DID, so I didn't realise another personality had done something that actually got her section. We had to fight to the High Court to get her back. She came back to us at 4 or 5 months. And we did bring her up and we did prove them wrong, and now she's 22, got a first-class law degree.
I met that daughter. She came with her, with Kim. Yeah, it's an awful story. It's an awful story. But yeah, I think it was another nail in the coffin for me, because I hadn't even had the chance to have a baby yet. Because I hadn't had a child taken off me, I wasn't real.
I'm glad you got her back.
For her, DID's normal, so
Yeah.
she doesn't know any different than having a mum with DID.
Yeah.
And she recognised the other personalities, she talked to them, and you know, and she, you know, she's great. So I think I've been lucky. What advice would you give to someone who has just received a DID diagnosis?
Just learn about your parts, learn about your alters, learn what they want and like, and accept them all, and, you know, just not be afraid of it, I guess.
I should take my own advice, because I'm afraid of it.
One of us can't deal with having all the time, so that's why we switch, you know. Just got to accept it, because, you know, it comes from somewhere.
I see DID as protecting the body.
Yeah.
It's a protection. If we didn't have DID, then we'd probably end up in a psychiatric hospital for the rest of our lives. So I think it was a protection. We could have even been dead. You know, the person hasn't got to blame themselves.
No.
It's not their fault. They're not weird, they're not a freak. There are other people out there.
The people just want to do their thing, just want to live normal lives.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you too.
Take care.
Well, that was that. It was an experience, wasn't it? Let's have a look at the comments. Yeah, let's have a little comment through. What are we on? There's a couple of good comments. That's good. There's a couple of like positive things, you know. As someone with a DID diagnosis who has been told she'll be abusive to her children and never a good mum because of her diagnosis is so amazing, and I'm so grateful to hear about someone with DID raising a child successfully who turned out to be healthy and okay. Like, that is so sweet. And it's like, yeah, it's so true. And yeah, like this comment said, it's crazy how powerful the brain is. 50 years ago, people would have been locked up in mental asylums for stuff like this, and now I'm glad that we are able to talk about mental health. Like, yeah, exactly. You know, we had mental health asylums where people would just get shoved in and locked away for any sort of signs, like I have shown my whole life. And yeah, the fact that I hadn't been to a psych ward, or the fact that I hadn't had my child taken away, or anything like that, completely invalidated me in Kim's eyes. And a lot of the comments' eyes. But yeah, like, people don't get thrown in psych wards anymore like they used to. You know, there's obviously going to be a difference in how we were treated if she was diagnosed 24 years ago. Yeah, there's obviously going to be a difference. I'm so glad that there is, like, actually a lot of decent comments. I was expecting a lot more hate. There's a lot of just, like, positive, this is the DID representation we need. It's so genuine. I love to see such a genuine and open dialogue between survivors that aims to create a well-rounded representation of living with this disorder. This is the kind of representation we need more of. Thank you to the channel and participants. Like, it's so happy and healthy. I was really expecting there to be a lot more hate. I do remember there being a lot more like, ooh, pink hair. Maybe it's because I'm looking at, like, top comments. Let's have a look at, like, sort by recent. Let's have a look. This is where it gets savage. Great circus act. Total nonsense. America triggers her. Same bestie, and I live here. I also saw a lot about religion in the comments, about how it's demons, or we need Jesus, or we need God. Trust me, I thought it was demons for a long time too, but whatever. Pink hair is lying, lol. Pink hair has a diagnosis from a doctor, so how exactly is that lying? There's no such thing as DID. All made up by these attention seekers. Get a life. Ridiculous. Lol, America is a trigger. What the fuck? I'm so triggered by how she's using words like masculine and feminine. It's 2020. It's 2020 2020 mode. It's 2022. Doesn't she understand that she can't say anything about gender or sex? Where's Stephen and Mark? I'm obsessed with the pink/brown hair. Yay. America triggers me too. I don't have DID, just thinking about it makes me upset. The way you can tell the young chick is playing it up though. The older chick is talking about it and sounds real, makes sense, and then the young girl is like, oh yeah, America is my trigger. What a load of bollocks. America. They are full of it. But yeah. Anyway. The pink-haired kid probably thought hers off TikTok. Was diagnosed before the app existed. Thanks, comment. Why is the noisiest fly just entered my room? What the hell? Where did you come from? It's summer in the UK now, so it's fly season. But yeah. I'm going to close that up. I'm going to scooch back in the middle. Because that was a ride. Yeah. It was an experience, definitely. Me and Kim, we didn't really get along, but we tried to be as civil as possible. The staff and the crew, the director, all of them was so lovely. We absolutely love them guys. We saw them again on our second video, and that was so nice. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this kind of react thing. I'm gonna try my best to edit this together into something. Yeah, if you like this, let me know, because I did do a second video with Light Bible that I would love to do this sort of thing with. For that one. We also did do an interview with Steph's Packed Lunch, so if I can get the footage for that, I will also do that one, if you guys want to see that. I might do the Steph's Packed Lunch one anyway, if I can find a copy of it, because it's not available in other countries. I don't think it was ever made available, so if I can do a react to it, then maybe you guys can actually watch it. So yeah. Let me know if you like that. Let me know what you thought of this. Yeah, it's a little bit different. But yeah, I will see you. Wait, if you made it this far, then comment down below. Comment a little heart. Comment a heart in your favorite color. And I will see all of these nice rainbow hearts for Pride. Anyway, I will see you in another video.